Okay, so to start with, we're going to talk about the price of all these devices. On the left, we have the Samsung Galaxy A14. In the middle, we have the Samsung Galaxy A34. And on the far right, we have the Samsung Galaxy A54. Let's start with the Samsung Galaxy A14. So this actually starts for $184 but here in Ghana you can actually pick one of these up starting from 1,900 to 2,199 depending on the variant that you go for. In the middle we have the Samsung Galaxy A34. This actually starts from $307 but here in Ghana you can actually pick one of these out for 4,440 and that is actually steep price. And on the far right you have the Samsung Galaxy A54. And this is being retailed for about $374 but here in Ghana you can actually pick one of these up starting from 5,400 to 5,900 depending on the storage variant that you go for. So those are the prices for all these devices. Now let's start with the design. One nice thing Samsung did this year was they tried to make all their devices look similar. So from the back, as you can see, they all have the same camera design at the back. So whichever one you decide to pick, will be comfortable and feel like you're holding one of their flagship devices. This actually looks like their flagship devices, that is the Samsung Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus from the rear. So they actually look good. Starting from the Samsung Galaxy A14, as you can see, this has a plastic back and a plastic frame. And when you check out the Samsung Galaxy A34, this also has a plastic frame and a plastic back, but actually feels like glass. In comparison to this, I can tell this is glass, but this seems like a very polished plastic. And taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy A54, this has a glass back and also a metallic frame, which actually makes it feel very premium. And in the hand, you can actually tell that the Samsung Galaxy A54 feels really premium. The glass back makes it feel cold sometimes, which I actually like. And the metallic frame also feels really good. Putting all three side by side, you can actually tell the Samsung Galaxy A14 is the biggest. So it's cheap, but when it comes to size, it's not that small. It's actually the biggest among the three if you put them side by side. And the Samsung Galaxy A54 is the smallest on the far right. The A14 actually has a fingerprint sensor embedded into the power button. If you like those sensors, you can actually use this to unlock your device and it works really well. At the bottom side, if you like your headphone jack, the Samsung Galaxy A14 still has the headphone jack for you, so you can use that. The rest don't come with headphone jacks, but they all come with Type-C charging ports for you. So if you want to charge your phone, you wouldn't have any issue. And when it comes to the speakers, the Samsung Galaxy A14 and the A34 don't come with a stereo speaker setup, but the Samsung Galaxy A54 comes with a stereo speaker setup. So that is actually cool. The A14 actually has a space for dual SIM cards and also supports micro SD. So if you want to have all that, you can actually have all this in your Samsung Galaxy A14. But when it comes to the A54, you have to choose between your secondary SIM card and your micro SD. You have to prioritize which one you want more. You can put one SIM card in and also a micro SD. So that is what comes to the A54 and the A34. So you choose which one you want, then you go for it. I know people will say that the glass back and the metallic frame makes it feel very premium, but that means that if you drop this phone, it actually can break and it's not as durable as the Samsung Galaxy A14. So what do you guys prefer? Do you want the all glass and metallic frame, or you want the all plastic build? Let me know which one you're going for when it comes to the design. So now let's take a look at the screens for all these three devices. And from here you can see the Samsung Galaxy A14 has the biggest screen of all the three. This comes as a massive 6.6 inches and the Samsung Galaxy A34 comes at 6.6 inches and the Samsung Galaxy A54 is the smallest at 6.4 inches. But it's also the most feature-packed screen amongst the three. This is actually a Super AMOLED display and supports HDR10 and 120Hz refresh rate. This is also AMOLED and also 120Hz, but doesn't support HDR10. And the Samsung Galaxy A14 is an LCD display, which makes it the lowest in comparison to the three. So all these actually look good. We have to say the Samsung Galaxy A54 actually has a lot of specs to it. But then how does it actually feel when you're watching videos? Let's take a look at these videos that I downloaded here. You'll actually be surprised if I tell you the best screen among these three is the screen found on the Samsung Galaxy A34. When you look at the colors side by side, the A34 is more vivid. The blacks are actually really black. Check this out, guys. You can see this color looks very nice on the Samsung Galaxy A34. I was actually disappointed with what we have on the Samsung Galaxy A54. When you put all the three of them in front of you, you can see the screen on the Samsung Galaxy A34 looks the best. Seriously guys, this is my outcome, this is my finding, this is my observation when I put all 3 screens in front of me. So specs don't always say the truth, is just half of the story. As you can see, all 3 in front of me, I can easily tell the Samsung Galaxy A34 is the best screen amongst the 3, and that was actually very impressive. I was very excited to find out something like that. But the rest, when it comes to the screen, we have a 120Hz found on both devices, so they are all smooth. The Samsung Galaxy A14 is a 60Hz display, so it's not as smooth as what we have on the A34 and the Samsung Galaxy A54. So for the screen guys, that was my observation. So that is what you should notice if you decide to pick any of these up. We also have a dual selfie camera on the Samsung Galaxy A14 and also a dual selfie camera on the Samsung Galaxy A34, and we have a poncho on the Samsung Galaxy A54, which makes it look really modern. And also the bezels on here are so chunky. But after I asked a couple of people, some people don't actually care about bezels, so it looks like it's only the tech people that worry about bezels. But this was my observation for all the screens when it comes to these Samsung devices. Also, the Samsung Galaxy A54 has the brightest screen amongst them all. This is actually 1000 nits, so if you're somebody that likes to use your phone outside, this should technically be giving you more brightness in comparison to all 3. And to be honest, I can't actually tell the difference between this and this, but I can actually tell when it comes to this. These 2 are brighter in comparison to this one. Now let's go to performance. The Samsung Galaxy A14 actually comes with Android 13. They all come with Android 13, but the Samsung Galaxy A14 is actually One UI Core version 5.1, and the other 2 are also One UI version 5.1. They are all Android 13 in out of the box, and these are the Geekbench scores. As you can see, obviously the Samsung Galaxy A54 has the highest scores when it comes to the Geekbench scores, but trust me, everyday usage, you rarely see the difference. You can definitely see these are faster in comparison to the A14, that's for sure. But between these 2, it's very hard to actually tell. When I tried playing some Call of Duty, I could tell that the Samsung Galaxy A54 performs slightly or marginally better than the Samsung Galaxy A34. So when it comes to performance, these 2 can actually be compared head to head, but this one is the least amongst the 3. So when it comes to performance, these 2 perform really well. And what I noticed was the Samsung Galaxy A34 and the A54 have the side panels. You don't actually get that on the Samsung Galaxy A14. But other stuff like routines are also found on all these devices, which was actually good, which means that the Samsung didn't neglect the Samsung Galaxy A14. Here, the motion routines are actually available on all these devices. And One UI, like I said, has come a very long way. They actually function and look similar on almost all these devices. So if you decide to pick any of these up, One UI in general is actually cool, but performs slightly better on these 2. So when it comes to performance, these 2 are way better than this, but you're actually paying for what you're getting, so it's not a bad thing. And when it comes to battery life, you have a 5000 mAh battery in all 3 devices. On the Samsung Galaxy A54, it actually supports 25 watts of super fast charging, the same for the Samsung Galaxy A34, but on the Samsung Galaxy A14, this actually supports just 15 watts of fast charge. Actually, this is going to take longer when you're charging it, but what I realized was this can actually give me more hours in terms of usage. I can actually go 2 days easily in comparison to these 2. This actually consumes a lot when it comes to performance, but this doesn't do so much, so less battery could be consumed here. So the best battery life actually goes to the Samsung Galaxy A14, whilst these perform really well, but not in comparison to the Samsung Galaxy A14. So when it comes to battery life, the Samsung Galaxy A14 actually takes it. So if you're somebody that considers battery a lot, you should be looking at this guy. So now checking out the cameras, it looks like we have a triple camera setup on all these devices. Starting from the Samsung Galaxy A14, this is actually a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 5 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro camera. On the Samsung Galaxy A34, we have a 48 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro. In the Samsung Galaxy A54, we have a 50 megapixel main, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro. Then these are some of the pictures that were taken with the Samsung Galaxy A14, and over here you can see one of the parts that it struggles with a lot when it comes to the pictures definitely has to do with dynamic range. The dynamic range wasn't the best, but the colors were actually looking good. The pictures are sharp enough. The pictures also improve when you decide to go check out what we have on the Samsung Galaxy A34. This actually look way better in comparison to the Samsung Galaxy A14. These look better in terms of processing, but it wasn't the sharpest that I've seen. All around, when you look at the pictures that were taken with the Samsung Galaxy A54. The pictures are way better in comparison to all three. Definitely the most expensive one, definitely the better performing one. So when it comes to the camera system, and the same story when it comes to the selfies as well. So in general, what do I think about all these three devices? The A14 being the cheapest isn't really the most poorly performing device among these. It's actually worth the price that you're getting. The Samsung Galaxy A54, if you ask me, I think it's probably due to the exchange rate. It's actually on the high side. This seems to be on the sweet spot, but I also wish we could probably bring it down about 500 or 600 Ghana cedi, then it will be my perfect pick amongst these three. But if you're looking for a device that performs really well, when it comes to this design and build, I feel this looks the best and feels the best. When it comes to the screen, surprisingly, I'm going to be picking what we have on the Samsung Galaxy A34. And when it comes to performance, I'm going to give it to the Samsung Galaxy A54. When it comes to the battery life, I'm going to give it to the Samsung Galaxy A14. And when it comes to the cameras, I'm going to give it to the Samsung Galaxy A54. So let me know what you think about all these three devices in the comment section down below. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, leave it in the comment section down below and I'm going to help you sort it out. Thank you for spending time with me. I know this was a long one, but bear with me. We had to do this. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.